There is a plant with red stems crawling through the cracks in your driveway right now that contains more omega-3 fatty acids than salmon. Not per pound, per leaf. It has been feeding humans for 4,000 years, survived the fall of empires, and in 2020, scientists at Yale discovered it does something no other plant on Earth can do. Something they called a biological impossibility. The herbicide industry spends billions making sure you never learn its name. Stop for a moment and think about what you were told is healthy. You were told to buy expensive fish oil capsules. You were told to eat wild-caught salmon at $30 a pound. You were told that omega-3s, the essential fats your brain and heart need to survive, only come from the ocean. That is a lie. And it is a profitable lie. The global omega-3 supplement market is worth over $4 billion a year. That is $4 billion spent on capsules, bottles, and marketing, when the richest source of these fats is literally growing between the stones in your backyard. For free. Forever. In 3500 BC, someone in northern Greece stored seeds in a clay vessel. When archaeologists opened it 5,500 years later, they found thousands of tiny black seeds, each barely 1 millimeter across. The same plant growing between the stones outside. By the 6th century BC, these seeds appear in the Samian Herion, one of the most important sanctuaries in ancient Greece. By the 4th century BC, Theophrastus is writing cultivation instructions, telling farmers to sow it in April alongside their essential crops. This was not a weed. This was food. The Roman Empire cultivated it across 3 continents. Medieval Europeans ate it at every meal. In 1288, Bonvesin della Riva compiled a list of everything Milan consumed. This plant made the list not as a curiosity, but as a staple. This is Purslane, Portulaca oleracea, the plant that solved a problem scientists did not know existed, and the one we were taught to destroy. Sometime after Iceland, Purslane crossed an ocean. But when European settlers documented it in Massachusetts in 1672, archaeologists later discovered it had already been here for 2,800 years. Seeds found in Ontario date to 1350 AD. Seeds found in Kentucky date to 900 BC. Native Americans had been cultivating it alongside sunflowers, squash, and chinopods in the Eastern Agricultural Complex. 2 populations separated by an ocean both decided this plant was essential. What did they know? In 1958, physiologist Ansel Keys launched the 7 countries study to understand why some populations had almost no heart disease, while others died from it at epidemic rates. He tracked 12,000 men across 7 countries for 25 years. The results broke every assumption. The farmers of Crete consumed some of the highest fat diets in the world, more than 40% of calories from fat. According to every nutritional theory of the time, they should have been dying from heart attacks. Instead, they had the lowest cardiovascular mortality rate Keys had ever measured. Lower than Japan, lower than Finland, lower than anywhere. For 30 years, scientists credited olive oil, the monounsaturated fats, the Mediterranean magic. Then in the 1990s, a new team went back to the frozen blood samples from the original study. They were not looking for cholesterol. They were looking for omega-3 fatty acids. The Cretans had 3 times the omega-3 levels of the Dutch, but they were not eating 3 times more fish. They were eating purslane every single day, in salads, in stews, sautéed with olive oil, fed to their chickens and goats. The animals ate purslane. The people ate the animals. The entire island's food system ran on a plant that grew wild in every field. Dr. Artemis Simopoulos analyzed purslane in 1992. The numbers seemed impossible. 300 to 400 milligrams of alpha-linolenic acid per 100 grams of fresh leaves. That is 10 to 20 times more than spinach, and 100 times more than iceberg lettuce. It is the richest vegetable source of omega-3 fatty acids ever measured. But it gets stranger. Land plants do not make EPA, eicosapentaenoic acid. That is a marine omega-3 you get from fish and algae, not from something in your garden. Purslane makes EPA. Not much, just traces. But when Simopoulos published the findings, other scientists questioned whether the samples had been contaminated. They had not. Purslane produces 7 times more vitamin E than spinach, 6 times more beta-carotene than carrots, and contains melatonin, glutathione, potassium, magnesium, and calcium in concentrations that make it one of the most nutrient-dense plants ever analyzed. The Lion Diet Heart Study tested whether the creatine diet could save lives. 605 patients were recovering from heart attacks. Half got the standard low-fat cardiac diet. Half got a Mediterranean diet rich in purslane, walnuts, and omega-3 fatty acids. After 4 years, the purslane group had 70% fewer deaths. Not 70% fewer heart attacks. 70% fewer deaths from all causes. The study was stopped early because keeping the control group on the standard diet became unethical. So why is purslane not in every grocery store? Why do most people call it a weed? In 2014, Dr. Erica Edwards and her team at Yale published findings in Science Advances that rewrote what we thought was possible in photosynthesis. They had been studying purslane because it did something impossible. It thrived in extreme drought while growing faster than almost any other plant. Most plants use C3 photosynthesis, which works fine with plenty of water. Corn and sugarcane evolved C4 photosynthesis, which handles high temperatures but still needs water. Desert plants like cacti use CAM photosynthesis. They open their pores at night to collect carbon dioxide when it is cool, then seal them during the day. This prevents water loss, but it also makes them grow incredibly slowly. Scientists knew purslane could do both C4 and CAM. They assumed the plant used C4 in one part of the leaf and CAM in another, keeping the system separate. When the Yale team mapped gene expression across purslane cells, they discovered both systems operating in the same cells at the same time. They found C4 activity during the day for fast growth and CAM activity at night for drought survival. The products of CAM reactions feed directly into the C4 pathway. Edwards said this is a very rare combination of traits and has created a kind of superplant. No other species on Earth does this. The same enzymes are recruited for different jobs at different times in the same cellular space. It is like discovering a car engine that runs on gasoline and electricity simultaneously in the same combustion chamber, not by switching between them. Purslane survives on 1/5 of the water corn needs. It grows in soil so salty that most crops would die in days. It produces 240,000 seeds per plant. Each seed can remain viable in soil for up to 40 years. Every stem fragment that touches the ground roots into a new plant. You cannot kill it with heat. You cannot kill it with drought. One university's study on solarization, covering soil with plastic to superheat it, concluded that if purslane dies from solarization, everything that could go right did go right. This is the plant the herbicide industry declared war on. The global herbicide market hit $41 billion in 2023. Bayer, Syngenta, and Corteva sell products specifically formulated to kill purslane in lawns, gardens, and agricultural fields. Mesotrione, isoxaben, indaziflam, and 2,4-D, the same chemical weapon developed in World War II that Scott's company marketed to American homeowners in the 1950s. Homeowners associations prohibit it. Agricultural extension offices publish eradication guides. The entire infrastructure of modern horticulture treats purslane like an invasive enemy, not because it damages ecosystems, but because it cannot be controlled. You cannot patent purslane. You cannot genetically modify its seed coat to make it sterile. You cannot create a hybrid variety that farmers have to buy new every year. It has been reproducing freely for 4,000 years, and it will keep reproducing no matter what anyone does. Every other omega-3 source is a controlled market. Wild fish populations are collapsing. Farmed salmon requires massive infrastructure. Flaxseed oil goes rancid. Fish oil supplements cost $30 a bottle. Purslane grows for free in every climate zone where humans live. It produces more omega-3 per acre than any cultivated crop, and it asks for nothing but sunlight and occasional rain. The plant that could revolutionize how humanity grows food is classified as the world's most common weed. India still eats purslane. They call it kulfa. In Greece, glistrida. In Mexico, verdolagas, sautéed with garlic and chili. In China, it has been continuously cultivated for thousands of years as machi sian. Across Turkey, Iran, and the Middle East, it appears in meze spreads and summer salads. Half the world never forgot. The other half was taught to poison it. When climate models project where crops will fail first, they point to semi-arid zones, places where rainfall is already marginal and getting worse. These are precisely the conditions where purslane thrives. Corn and wheat require 20 to 30 inches of annual rainfall. Purslane completes its life cycle on 6 inches. Soybeans shut down photosynthesis above 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Purslane accelerates. The solution we need is already here, crawling through the cracks in parking lots, growing in abandoned lots, waiting in the margins of every vegetable garden where you tried to pull it out. You have been at war with your own food supply. Think about what this means. Every spring, millions of people spend billions buying omega-3 supplements made from fish, hauled out of dying oceans, processed in factories, shipped across continents, and sold in plastic bottles that will outlive us all. Meanwhile, the richest source of these same fats is sprouting in their driveways, asking for nothing, costing nothing, surviving conditions that would kill almost any other crop. We are paying for scarcity when abundance is free. We are supporting an industrial system built on the idea that health comes from a bottle when it grows from the ground. Learn to identify purslane. It has thick red stems and succulent paddle-shaped leaves that grow flat along the ground. The stems are smooth, never hairy. When you break one, it is juicy, almost translucent inside. The flowers are tiny and yellow, usually tucked between the leaves. If you are unsure, check the stem. Red, smooth, succulent, and growing in a mat. That is purslane. Stop poisoning it. If it is growing in your garden, let it. If it is coming up between your patio stones, eat it instead of spraying it. Harvest it young, the first 6 weeks when the leaves are tender. Eat it raw in salads for a lemony, slightly salty crunch. Sauté it like spinach or add it to smoothies. Pickle it, stew it, or dry it for winter. The flavor is mild, slightly tangy, with a texture that adds freshness to anything. You are not eating a weed. You are eating what the Cretans ate to live longer than anyone else. You are eating what Roman soldiers carried in their packs. You are eating what Native Americans cultivated for 3,000 years before Europeans arrived and told them it was worthless. Save the seeds. One plant produces hundreds of thousands. Let a few go to seed. Collect them in late summer, and you will have enough to plant an entire garden or share with everyone you know. The seeds are tiny, black, and come from capsule-like seed pods that split open when they dry. Spread them in disturbed soil, bare patches, or anywhere you want food to appear without effort. They will germinate with the first rain, and create a living carpet. Teach someone else. Every person who learns to recognize purslane is one more person who stops seeing food as something that only comes from stores. One more person who understands that the most nutritious plants on earth are often the ones we have been taught to destroy. One more person who breaks free from the controlled food system that profits from ignorance. The herbicide industry does not want you to know that the richest source of omega-3 fatty acids is in your driveway. The pharmaceutical industry does not want you to know the supplement they sell for $30 a bottle is trying to replicate what Purslane does for free. The agricultural industry does not want you to know the superplant scientists are trying to engineer already exists. It is called Purslane. It has been feeding humans for 4,000 years, and it is in your driveway right now, waiting for you to stop attacking it and start eating it. Welcome to Soil and Secrets. This is your invitation to remember what we forgot. Hit the like button if this opened your eyes. Subscribe, because we are exposing the plants they do not want you to grow. And tell me in the comments, have you been pulling out purslane? Because if you have been throwing away the most valuable crop on your property.